thinks of Proust and so many others, like their inversion in Clark Kent and Superman. Prince Mishkin, the invalid, the reporter and magical writing pad, tells stories and endlessly receives narratives from the society of compulsive interlocutors. Moreover, he flies high, pitched forward by his epiphanies and crack-ups. All cultural phantasms of bodily mutations aside, the body never stays put long enough to form self-identity. That is why our ancestors used to fast forward and just lose it, Trauerspiel style, in favor of more ethereal forms and nebulous promises. Dostoevsky consistently focused the suffering among the humiliated, insulted, and injured. And idiocy offered a delicate conflagration of soma and psyche, where it became confounding to speak with confidence about health or illness, strength or weakness, as if these were mere opposites. Idiocy allowed access to the insulted body, the enfeebled mind, though for Dostoevsky these qualities are set in flux, reversing their values according to momentary displacements. As for the prince, who sees himself as ill, despite his saintly innocence, he is forced to revert to his body, to situate it as reference. At every step of the way, illness, even in its condition of latency, forces his hand. Illness, if that is what it is, exhorts the body to reveal something of itself. But is there an object of the revelations provoked by illness? Is anything learned or understood? Or is not illness the stealth master, the teacher whose lesson is unremittingly opaque yet purposeful? The body takes time. In any case, illness prompts a temporal warp, a lengthening of days and shortening of hours, a future telescoping into sweat beads. There is so much time, yet this time you are clocked by the quickening sense of finitude. You're in a pinch. This is when you ask, how much time do I have? Your body, localized to its place of pathology, reminds you how it used to make itself invisible, a point or pulsation in the unconscious. When it was on your side, it carried you by leaving itself behind. Maybe you had cut your finger or banged your knee, a spider bite, little things that would signal as if by metonymy, honey, I'm home, I'm your home. Now your body prevails in a reproachful sort of way, and there is nothing for you to know. There are charts and medical histories, comparative analyses, information and data, prognoses and projections, all cognitive stammers in the face of illness. You become its amnesiac witness, capable of momentary attestations, observing and monitoring, unsure of ever recovering from these eruptions of total contingency. You understand yourself as dead meat, repeating the ancient cry of abandonment and knowing that this time it's for real. You have been forsaken. Forget about getting past this. Though there are little altogether resurrections, your fever goes down, a little energy suddenly rises, you can eat or walk or pee alone, and it is not clear why this is happening to you right now. I mean that you're not yet dead. Still, something has happened to you. One morning you wake up like Gregor Samsa, can't get out of bed, or you've been throwing up all night. Something has happened. You took a fall, you fell ill, KO'd, you were thrown, cast out of the heavenly body which certified innocence in the form of health. You are sick as a dog. Everything stops. There are times when this suspension of being can be affirmed, like when Gregor dances on the ceiling. He doesn't have to go to work. You get to stay home and regress, read, watch, television, hallucinate. Still, though, there's something very wrong, like culpability without a known cause. You're in trouble, unbalanced. The inventions and inflections of the future vanish, but something is released as well. The store of toxicity spills, sometimes in slow motion, and something like time starts cleansing. Your body is fighting for you. It's a fight sometimes without teleology. It can be a losing battle or about healing without a cure, one big healing crisis. It's war, and one small part of yourself is standing up for you, standing up to you, maybe for the first time. Illness, essentially related to the experience of injustice, it is your Gewoffenheit, your dharma. Something beyond or within you has put you down, smashed you firmly against a wall of indifference, pressuring you with your own capacity for suffering. It was uncalled for illness, yet there may be something you did, you think, to bring it on, an accompaniment to your finitude. Illness visits you at will and does what it wants to your body, biting organs and stinging surfaces you didn't know you had. To underscore this point, Dostoevsky made sure that the prince would endure, so to speak, the intensity of injustice by determining that his experience of illness would not be obscured by social injustice. This is why Dostoevsky throws money and station at him. The martyring of the prince is related to a destruction rendered irreparable because there is no way to separate the destruction of mind from a body in desperation. Hence the prince suffers a sacred illness. It is not the body which, though entrusted to us, is as such sacred, but the illness which disorders sense and even convention that appears to maintain the oratic quality of the ongoing sacrifice, its sacredness. Illness offers its own system of subverting social norms, independently of a subjectivity or volition. I can never marry, I am ill. Framed by panic, illness gives access to the devotional mode of surrender, abandoning to itself something other than the self, the will. Where Nietzsche thematized a going under that was pivoted on a promise of recuperation, and we've discussed many of Nietzsche's Untergänge in our seminar, Dostoevsky parses illness for a rhythm of remission, a promise offered only for provisional reprieve. But there is no phase of attestable overcoming, for the disease, experienced in the mode of a silent chronicity, is always with the idiot, even where it refrains from proposing signs and symptoms, or ceases to substitute itself for perception and mime consciousness. Another kind of mediation, illness indeed brings with it an alternative system of ecstasy and meaning. Under paradoxical sway, classical tropes of harmony and balance are shown to be sustained only in the distortions produced by the pained body beside itself, pitching toward massive collapse. The measured chill of absolute endangerment. As one Dostoevsky scholar puts it, this beatific vision of harmony can only be experienced by a half-witted epileptic who knows it to be an aberration of his disease. In the idiot, there are two infirm bodies. They are labeled explicitly by the graphosomatology of the text, as ill as dying. Of course, no one is excused from the exigencies of this becoming. The limits of health are not always very clear. One cannot be found not to be dying, and anyway, illness is an inescapable condition of being. But two bodies, those of Prince Myshkin and of the young nihilist, Hippolyte, are presented without ambiguity under the name of illness. Hippolyte, the consumptive, in the process of dying, is tied to his process by confessions and the composition of incessant last wills and angry testaments. The prince endures an illness which stays the execution, but offers premonitions of death episodically.